Bitcoin has been making lower high after lower high after lower high, but finally the structure has changed. We just printed a higher low. In today's video, I'll be talking about where Bitcoin could potentially be heading, dragging the rest of the market with it ahead of FOMC, and I'll also be guiding you through how I've been trading this market over the past month. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So the structure for Bitcoin has officially changed. You can see that in my past few videos, I was pointing out these lower highs for Bitcoin, and now we have broken above that lower high, which was found right around 112.5K. So we can potentially go ahead and delete this. And now you can see that we are technically above the 112K all-time high, which is crucial for Bitcoin to hold a support. We got rejected here, and everyone on the timeline went max bearish, talking about brand new lows for Bitcoin. But I wasn't quite convinced. You can see that we came back down and had a healthy retest of 109.4K. Why is 109.4K so important? Well, if I zoom out, you can see that it coincides perfectly with the inauguration all-time high. These are very critical levels, and I try to outline them on the chart so you can trade accordingly. You can see that we bounced from this level, and now we are back above $112,000. So if Bitcoin can continue to hold above this level, we will now be targeting the liquidity around 113.5K. And just to show you, as I always do, this is how I've been trading this. We entered the position, and so far we've secured $5,000 in profit, with this position currently sitting at around $16,000 in profit. Now, I wanted to show you how I've been trading this market most recently, because a lot of you have been following the channel and you've been making some nice gains, but you are not in my free premium group where I go ahead and guide members through my own personal trade setups. So here's a little bit of a recap. First of all, when Bitcoin came down to these levels, which was around $112,000, I was vocally bullish on the channel, saying that the all-time high was not in and that we would likely see brand new all-time highs, as everyone was max bearish. You can see that if I zoom in here, we did enter a Bitcoin long, and I put it on this graph just to show you that we made around $73,000 in profits. We entered around 114K, and we made it all the way up to 123.4. Now, if you're in my premium group, you know that we took some significant profits on this trade. Then Bitcoin made that all-time high, and we didn't catch a short. I'm not going to claim we did. But when we came back down around these areas, I was vocal once again on the channel saying that if Bitcoin is to bounce, this would be the area that Ethereum would be putting in a brand new all-time high. And this is exactly what we saw. I was max long on Ethereum. I had a lot of conviction. And again, if you're in my group, you know exactly how I was trading this. And we made another $70,000 in profit on this Ethereum long trade, as you can see, all the way up past all-time highs. Then around this region over here, a lot of people were extremely bearish when Bitcoin hit $107,000. But as I've been talking about on the channel, we got a bounce from the point of control of the previous range. We also got to the bottom of the existing range. We also held the bull market support band as support. There was also way more upside liquidity, and the bears were dunking on the timeline, calling for the cycle to be over. No, I long. And as you can see here, this was the most recent trade. We made some very, very nice profits. And indeed, this is the one that I'm showing you on the channel here. And the reason I'm showing you this is because you can see that I don't actually get the most perfect entries in the market. But over the past few weeks, and actually over the past few months, I have been very much directionally correct. And honestly, that's all you need to become a very successful trader. Now, I'm not going to claim that I didn't have any losses, but you can see that over this past month, we made over $100,000 in realized profits. And as you can probably notice by now, my wins greatly exceed my losses. So I wanted to share this and invite you into my free Telegram community, which is the first link in my description down below. All you need to do is DM me the word premium, and I would be happy to onboard you into this group. Now, I know that this is a little bit of a shill, but I really want to help all of you out in terms of trading. I can see that a lot of you have been getting wrecked in the crypto market, and I want to show you the path towards profitability. Anything I share in this group are my exact trade setups and how I'm operating in this market. The only requirement to join this group for free is to sign up with one of my affiliate exchange links, as you can see down below, either Blowfin or Weeks, and then you go ahead and make a minimum minimum deposit and trade on there as you normally would. And the best part here is that if you already signed up with me, you automatically get access to my group. DM me the word premium on Telegram, clicking the first link in the description down below, and I would be happy to onboard you. Now, enough of that shill, let's get back to the charts. So what am I looking for here? Because we did get a pretty sizable bounce and we got some very, very nice profits as I showed you here. Look, Bitcoin can go ahead and target the liquidity around 113.5K, but that would be the pivotal moment for me to flip even more bullish, targeting some more upside liquidity, which I've been vocal about on the channel. Right now, you can see that the structure has indeed changed. We finally made a higher low. If we would have rolled over here, then at that point, we could target much lower levels for Bitcoin. But right now, since we actually broke above this region, the next zone would be here, then here, then here, and then all of a sudden we start talking about all-time highs. But I don't want to get carried away quite yet. Whenever we break structure like this, it doesn't immediately mean that we have to go ahead and just fly up from here. But it does mean that structurally things have changed. And so even if we go ahead and get rejected, now that we broke out of this lower high structure, I am actually anticipating that we can chop around, and we will likely be seeing another all-time high for Bitcoin, which I've also been very vocal about. Now, does that mean that the low is officially in? Well, not necessarily, because we have seen this time and time again, where finally, when the structure does change for Bitcoin, a lot of people start piling into longs, and then we maybe get another liquidity flush before moving higher. Markets aren't all black and white, as I always say. There can be a lot of volatility around these regions, but first things first, the structure has changed, and this is what I like to see. Now, on this chart, you can see that I've outlined, again, $112,000. So long as we hold above here, there's a strong argument for more upside for Bitcoin before potentially moving lower. Now, if we reclaim 113.5K as support, it's at that point in time that we can start targeting the CME gap and really filling this entire thing all the way up to 116.8K. Now, this would be significant profits from the lows if you enter that long with me. Now, Bitcoin dominance is another topic that we need to quickly address in this video. Look, we got a bounce from this trend line, and I still don't think that the Bitcoin dominance uptrend is over. We know how the altcoin season calls go. Every single influencer has been pushing altcoin season for the past few years, but I have been vocal as well about literally just holding Bitcoin and then getting into Ethereum when we bottomed out against its Bitcoin pair near the 2019 lows. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me just zoom out once again. If you've been following the channel, you probably know exactly what I'm about to show you. But over here, you can see that back in 2019, ETH Bitcoin made a significant bottom before a massive rally up. And I was vocal talking about how at this level is a very, very good level to dollar cost average into Ethereum, not just with some dollars, but also with your Bitcoin stack, which is exactly what I did. So right now, my spot portfolio is still Bitcoin and Ethereum. And of course, as you can probably tell by now, I do enjoy trading the market. Now in the short term here, so long as we can hold above this little cluster, I do think that things are looking good for Bitcoin to target the upside liquidity at the bare minimum around 113.5K. But we cannot ignore the fact that we do have some pretty pivotal events coming in the next few hours. We have non-farm payrolls and we also have the unemployment rate. Now, if we get some kind of shocking print, then at that point, we would likely see a big dump to the downside for Bitcoin. But if things remain relatively stable, as we've come to expect them, give or take a few percentage points, then at that point in time, I still think that Bitcoin may be able to continue its uptrend. So I'm just being fully transparent with you as to how I'm trading this market. I actually think that we could potentially see a sharp rejection around 113.5K, and that would maybe send us lower to make a new low. Again, from a spot positioning, I want to add aggressively if Bitcoin is to break down lower in preparation for the last leg of this bull market cycle. And something else that you need to remember here going into the next few days and weeks is that we do have some inflation prints that are also coming out, core inflation and the overall inflation rate. And then naturally, in the upcoming weeks, we do have FOMC, which will be on Wednesday, September 17th. So what I'm expecting here is that if we continue to hold here and we hold above the liquidity cluster around 113.5, then we can trickle on higher. However, FOMC may be a sell the news event. Rate cuts are clearly priced in, 99.7% chance that we get rate cuts. Now, if they go ahead and cut rates by 50 basis points, then maybe we get a shocking rally to the upside. That would be very nice. But right now, I am cautiously optimistic. If we move higher, great. I hold Bitcoin, I hold Ethereum, I have great exposure to the market. However, if we do go ahead and roll over, at that point in time, I will likely add a lot of capital to my positions, likely more in some altcoins as we enter the last stage of this bull market cycle. So I hope that makes sense. This was just a very, very quick update video. What else did I want to show you? Yes, the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map. You know we like to cover this on the channel, but you can still see that over the past 30 days, a lot of liquidity is still to the upside. And with the current price above $112,000, as I shared in today's video, I wouldn't be surprised if we go and target this massive liquidity cluster. As you can see, cumulative short liquidation leverage of 1.3 billion if Bitcoin makes it all the way up to 113.5K. So to make it perfectly clear, the low may not be in, but as I always say, it was a very high risk to reward trade setup to go long near these bottoms. And remember, if you want to trade with me and operate in this market as I have been doing for years, you have the first link in my description down below. These were some of my highest conviction calls that I've made over the past few weeks, and you can see that it netted us some pretty significant profits. I'm fully transparent in this group. I give you some voice updates as to how the trades are going. I also share my losses. So if you want a fully transparent group and you're prepared to take your trading to the next level, make sure to go ahead and sign up with the first link in my description down below. And this was a very quick Friday video, but nothing has really changed. We got the move to the upside, which we expected, and now if Bitcoin can hold back above $112,000, the liquidity cluster around 113.5 does seem more than likely to be tagged. Now hold above there, and all of a sudden we start talking about filling that CME gap all the way up to around 116.8K. That being said, there is a non-negligible chance here that the lows are not in for Bitcoin, and maybe, just maybe, in the upcoming weeks ahead of FOMC, we find our way back below as September typically makes a bottom before the last leg of this bull market cycle. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. I hope you all have a very lovely weekend, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.